Okay, in this problem, you're given a situation, you have two different sales jobs. The first company offers a straight commission of 4% of the sales. The second company offers a salary of $440 a week plus 3% of the sales. So how much would you have to sell in a week in order for the straight commission offer to be at least as good? So we're going to set up a system of equations to do this, and we're trying to look at how much your salary would be given these two situations. So we're going to look at the salary for the first case here, and then the salary for the second case. So 1 second here. Okay, so in the first case, you're given so in the first case, you're given a straight commission of 40% of the sales. And so to do the sales here, I'm just gonna call that S. S is going to represent the number of sales. And so this is a dollar amount. Okay. And then your salary, the salary is another word for pay. So I'm going to use P for salary. Okay, and this first company offers a straight commission of 4% of the sales. So commission just means that your salary is just a percentage of the sales. So in this case, it's 4% of the sales. So in this case, to write this equation out, I would say that my pay is 4%. Now I'm not going to write 4%. I'm going to change that to a decimal, which is going to be 0.04. And it's 0.04 of or times the number of sales, or the amount of the sales. So there's the first equation. So we got P is equal to 0.04 S. Okay, so that's the first company. The second company does things a little bit different. You get a smaller percent, but they also give you $440 up front. So for the second company, your pay is going to be, they're going to give you $440 just for doing nothing. And then on top of that, they're going to add 3% of the sales. So in this case, we're going to get 0.03 of the sales. Okay, there's some keywords here that I just want to make sure that we're aware of. So when we're talking about these things, we talk about 4%. So 4%, it says 4% of. That word of is kind of a math word. It means multiplication. So you hear things like of or per or for each or something like that. It usually means a multiplication. Okay, and then we've also got this right here, so plus. So we've got the plus, so it's addition. And then again, we've got the word of there. So our pay in the first case is 4% of or times the salary or the sales. And in our second case, the pay is equal to $440 plus 3% of or multiply the sales. So we got to solve the system equations now. Since this section is dealing with solving systems of equations with substitution, we'll go ahead and use substitution method. Substitution method is perfect for this because to do substitution, you have to have one variable solved, or one variable like all by itself. So in this case, we have P, or the salary, is all by itself. And it's not just by itself in one equation, but it's by itself in both equations, which actually makes this a super easy and super, example of using substitution. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to replace, since P is equal to 0.04S, in the second equation, we're just going to replace P with this 0.04S. And so what we end up with is 0.04S is equal to the second equation there. So that's 440 440 plus 0.03 S. All right. So now we've got a system of equations that we can work with. So I want to get this S all by itself here, and so I'm just going to go ahead and subtract this from both sides. So I end up with 0.01 S is equal to 440. Okay, and then there's a couple ways I can do this. I can divide both sides by the 0.01. This is actually 1/100th. So another way that I can do that is I can actually just multiply both sides here by 100. So an easy way to do that is just to move the decimal place over 2 places. So this is 1% or 1/100th. So if I multiply both sides by 100, I get 1S is equal to, and then if I multiply this by 100, I just move that decimal place over 2. I'm going to add 2 zeros, so $44,000. Now, what does this mean? It means that if I were to take either one of these jobs and the sales were $44,000, then I would get paid the same amount regardless of which job I took. So it wouldn't really matter which job I took if the sales were 44,000. Oops. Sorry about that. All right. So what I'd like to look at and see is what would my pay be for this? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put $44,000 into one of these equations, and it doesn't matter which one because the pay will be the same. I'm going to do it into this first one here, just because it's easier to do. So I'm going to say P. Again. So we get P is equal to $44,000 times S. I'm sorry. Let's try that again. P is equal to $0.04 or times $44,000. That's a little bit better. Okay, so if I can just multiply those out, so I'm just going to look at my calculator here. And so I got 0.04 times 44,000, and that equals 1,760, 1,760. Okay, so my pay is going to be $1,760. Let's go back up to the question here. So how much would you have to sell in a week in order for the straight commission job to be at least as good? Okay, so we want to know, when will this job be at least as good as this? Okay, I know that if the sales are 0 in the first job, I'll get $0 for pay. But in the second job, if I get 0, if there are 0 sales, I still get $440. So that second job looks pretty good. And they want to know, at what point does the first job actually become a better deal? And so when that sales is equal to $44,000, then we know that those pays are equal. When the sales get to be above $44,000, then 4% of that's going to be bigger than this. So so how much would you have to sell in a week in order for the straight commission to be as good? The straight commission offer to be at least as good. That's going to be right here at $44,000. Right. I hope that answers your questions. Thanks for kind of putting up with my clumsy video here, and let me know if you're still struggling with that. All right.